Welcome to beautiful Portugal. We're high in the Douro Valley, the port wine producing region in the north of the country. It's the World Touring Car Championships' third visit to Villarreal, a city in the mountains where they have been racing on the streets here since 1931. Air temperature a very warm at 27 degrees, track temperature edging up towards 50, so quite a lot hotter the track than it was when we were out on it in free practice this morning as we get ready for our qualifying sessions. And as ever on a street circuit, an extended qualifying period for all three of our, well, two of our three qualifying sessions. 30 minutes of free qualifying for all the field, and then we'll go into a 20-minute session for the fastest 12, which will then decide not only grid positions from 12 up to 6, but also decide who goes through into the third portion of qualifying. Looking down there at the roundabout, that is at the end of the lap, where we will have in the races on Sunday a joker lap to be taken by each of the drivers at some stage during each of the races. Drivers' Championship being led by Volvo's Nicky Katsberg after a strong weekend for the Swedish team and their driver lineups in Nürburgring the last time out. Unfortunately, the only one who didn't really hit the bullseye in terms of points was Nesta Girolami, who perennially seems to be the unlucky one in the squad. But they have now taken over the lead of the drivers' standings, courtesy of Nicky Katsberg, from local hero Thiago Monteiro. And indeed, Thiago is not only is not the only local hero here. He's not the only Portuguese in the race. Has been for the last 2 seasons, but this year joined by Manuel Fernandes, who is not only Portuguese, but actually comes from Villarreal, born and bred here, lived here all his life. Raced last year in the European Touring Car Cup, and he makes his debut here on one of the RC Racing Ladas. So 3 Ladas now in the field. Joins our independent battle for the WTCC trophy. Well, this is a stunning viniculturist's delight. This stony, rocky ground, so perfect for wine and for olives. And everybody, of course, knows port, the fortified wine made in this region, shipped down the river, the Douro Valley to Porto at the Atlantic coast of northern Portugal, from where it has been a staple shipped around the world for centuries. A big crowd here last year. We're delighted to see the main race being won by Thiago Monteiro. For the first time in Portugal, he found a little bit of what Norby fever must be like to be Norby Mikelic in Hungary. He will be, I'm sure, really hoping to post another big win here this weekend. For the RC Racing team, Kevin Gleeson joined Jan Erlacher a couple of races into the season, and now it's in what we think is likely to be a one-off appearance. Manuel Fernandes joins the team as well. So all 3 of last year's Ladas are back out on track. We've got 3 Hondas run by the factory Castrol Honda team. We've got 3 Polestar Cyan Racing Volvos. And there is one of the bridges across town, just on the bottom right there, that used to be part of the old circuit. Used to be 4.4 miles, it's now 4.7 kilometers, so 5/8 of the distance. And here is what remains of Tom Coronel's Chevy Cruze. Bizarre incident in first free practice, saw the car crashing into a stationary vehicle off track. Watch for the puff of smoke there as the right wheel breaks and the tyre deflates, leaving him, beg your pardon, as the left wheel comes loose, and then he only had braking on the right wheel. You can hear him here trying to change down the gears. And fortunately for him, big impact with that stationary vehicle means that the car is wrecked. They're going to have to try and take it to Spain and fix it in Barcelona before the cars are flown.
So, you know, as I say, it's theirs. They've been very strong in both free practice. The one who seems to be taking the fight to him is Huffy at the moment.
Used tyres, so we just need to make some space, and let's get a banker lap in, and let's see where that puts us, please.
And That's the voice of Paul Ridgway, who came in a couple of race weekends ago to engineer Nicky Katzberg in his Volvo. And you heard the instruction there, make a bit of space, so immediately now finds himself some room, dropping back off Thiago Monteiro. Used tyres, not a brand new set. The deal here is to try and get a lap in, just in case there's a red flag session.
Nicky Katzberg, it's a different scenario for him this weekend, because he's always been the hunter and not the hunted, and suddenly he's championship leader, and I don't think he's one to sort of settle down and take it steady and pick up points. He's got a bit of a wild streak in him, hasn't he? Which is good. It's great fun to watch, and you know, he's spectacular out there, and I don't think he'll hold back, but I think it's been great for him getting Paul Ridgway in the background, because he's a very wise head on his shoulders. He's a calming influence, and he's pretty bright on the car setup as well.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. I mean, not only does he know how to engineer a car, but he is so strong with driver mentality, driver management, and that is, you know, half the job.
Not for Girolami.
He's had a lock-up.
Yeah, not so much car setup, driver optimization. Yeah, that's yeah, you're absolutely correct, Martin.
Yeah, and he
looks like he's nosed his front end in there as well.
Does a bit.
That's not the way to start qualifying.
Ideal. Oh, he's not the only one either.
No, who's that?
That's Thiago.
No, has Thiago got away with it? Looks like he might have done.
Red mirrors, I think, is Thiago. And Norby comes through in the number 5 car, and there's Girolami. Now then, we have had cars out on track other than the World Touring cars, and there's one of two reasons that's not slowing down, Matt. One is he's got a flat tyre, mechanical failure or some sort, or the second is that he's found some oil that they haven't spotted yet, and I have a feeling the reason Girolami went off is probably there's oil.
Yeah, we just got a bit of radio transmission through it. There is some oil down on turn 5, but every year the support races put oil down. They almost want to ban them. Which
they're gorgeous.
They have done in both free practices. There's been oil down, isn't there? Yeah. In greater or lesser forms. Yeah. You know, I don't know. What can you say? See the blue line there, which is the fading line for Joker lap, which we'll be finding out a bit later on tomorrow.
158.1. That's a good banker lap from Norby. That's a very good banker lap from Norby. Mikulic's feeling very under the weather this week. He's had stomach flu, basically, I think is perhaps the politest way of saying it. And so the Hondas have lost about 30 kilos of ballast compared to their rivals. Norby's probably running about 45 kilos lighter, I think, in his car, owing to the fact that he's not got much of an appetite, or is not feeling particularly inclined to try food at the moment.
A lot of patter on the front of that Huff Citroen there, just coming out that first chicane. Let's see whether it's tyre bounce or flex, or whether it's actually seem to be these you know, a lot of the cars, the Volvos and the Citroens, seem to have been very on the edge around here. You know, it's the street circuit, it is high speed, but they've got to get the front end working well, so that consequently makes the car really nervous. And Huff's probably been about the most solid of all the Citroens so far, and the one to take the fight to the Hondas, as we were alluding on earlier.
That's a bit of a Monaco, isn't it, there, where they come out the corner and over to the right and then back to the left, which is the racing line, which you do on the run down from Casino Square to Saint-Devote to avoid the big bump. And I was thinking about that the other day. Over all these years, since the 80s, 70s, why have they not planed that flipping bump on the run down from Saint-Devote? They resurface the entire seafront and the harbour front to make it smooth as a billiard ball every year or two.
Because that's part of the,
I suppose,
part of the circuit, isn't it? That's part of the fascination of it. Looks like Monteiro could be going for the first sub 1:58 lap of the weekend here, if he manages to hold it all together.
Norby's in the pits. Don't see any more of that. Really don't need to see any more of that. Really don't need to see any more of that. Right, well, Thiago's lap will happen whether or not we see it, I think, won't it? So, here we go.
Oof, that is a big lap.
6/10 quicker from Thiago Monteiro.
Now, Michelitz has had the marker down on for Thiago all weekend so far, and Thiago's just answered him back with interest, hasn't he?
Just gone straight there, hasn't he? No faffing about, straight to the top.
Even Michigami's up in
Wow,
third.
yes, just gone third quickest. That's a really good lap from Rio Michigami. Esteban Guerrero goes fourth fastest, ahead of Ted Björk by 12 thousandths of a second. And Nicky Katzberg is 21 thousandths behind him in sixth. And the significance of the top 5 position is were that to continue through into Q2, that would decide the 5 drivers to go into the single lap shootout for Q3.
Yeah, very close between
Tell you what,
4th, 5th and 6th. There's probably about 100 separating all of them.
never mind that, Daniel Nagy, well, okay, he's 8/10 away from Tom Chilton in 10th. But don't forget, again, going into, or to the end of Q2, 10th position will be the DHL pole sitter for the opening race. So top 10 after Q2 are reversed on the grid for the opening race on Sunday. So 10th position in qualifying can pay very nicely indeed. Well, Rio Michigami has kept his powder dry in free practice 1 and free practice 2. We didn't talk a lot about him. We didn't see much of the red, white and grey Honda, the R&D car. But Crikey O'Reilly, he fired that one in, didn't he?
Well, the Hondas are certainly showing him the way at the minute.
Got Huffy down in 7th place. Mehdi Banani 8th. In fact, Huff is the best of the Citroens, isn't he? So Huff Citroen 7th, Banani Citroen 8th, Aurelien Panis, another Honda, a Zengo Honda, 9th place. He's never been here before, Aurelien Panis. That's a good lap too. Right, can we stop qualifying now? That's excellent. Really entertaining grid that would be, with Chilton on pole and Panis alongside him. Daniel Nagy 11th, John Philippi 12th, Nesta Girolami has not set a competitive lap. He's gone out and come back in again. And there's 20 minutes remaining. Of course, his outlap was the one where he skated off into the tyres, then had to come back in to get the car checked over because it was damaged at the front. 22, the second of those 2 RC Racing larders. Here's Manuel Fernandez, and look at this. Talk about a car that's being made to dance. This is Jan Erlache on a flyer, and that car is really being hauled around.
He's been spectacular all weekend so far, and he's not letting us down now. He's really he's great fun to watch. He's always on the edge. The Larder just doesn't seem to have the legs on the or development that the Honda or the Volvo are getting at the moment, and the Citroen has from in historic speed. But he's certainly pushing it, isn't he?
Yeah, isn't he though? One of the wonderful things about this young man is he just takes everything so much in his stride. Yep, nothing phases him at all. And last week racing LMP3 prototypes at Le Mans, and doesn't that look like it could be a shot on the run down from Indianapolis? Or to Indianapolis.
Well,
and it is quick, yes, absolutely. They're doing 150 miles an hour here. 264 kilometers an hour we saw in first free practice as the top speed. Who's gone fastest so far? 2:37 so far has been the fast. No, 2:40 points, exactly 2:40 on the money. It's the fastest top speed we've seen so far.
See where Erlache lines up as he finishes his lap. Where is that going to put him? Up to 8th place. Good lap. Gleeson leading the other 2 larders. Currently lying down in 15th and 16th place respectively.
Kevin Gleeson, I'm sure by this stage now, starting to get a little bit more confident with the car, but again, never raced here before. been to Villarreal before. It's all a little bit new to him. And his teammate behind him, Manuel Fernandez, has the opposite problem. Raced on the track last year in Seat Leon in the European Touring Car Cup, but he's never raced a World Touring Car before, so that's a whole different thing for him to get his head round. Let's hear from Yann Lachey.
Keep pushing, keep pushing.
I'm not sure he has any other speed, Matt, does he? Because he really centred the curve on the car that time, didn't he? I hope they fit a sump guard to this car.
Martin, unfortunately, it wasn't me on the radio to him. But, yeah, this boy seems to only have one gear, which is... Even at the Nürburgring a few weeks back, where there was the steering issues and they weren't sure whether his steering was going to work or not. Is that Girolami gone off
again? Same place.
He's not having a good day.
And look at the white stripe all across, going from behind his car across to out of shot. That's where the oil, that's where the drying agent is still on the ground. Van Muller looking very chilled in the sunnies.
Ooh, watch it, boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Vigorously wave yellows, and if you're going to take real caution for a yellow flag, a street circuit is absolutely the place where you want to be most alert. Oh dear, and that's the bonnet of the Volvo come up. Girolami not really having much luck, is he?
Do you think he's almost trying too hard now? Or is he just unfortunate?
Is that bonnet coming up because he's bumped it into the tyres? Yeah. Or
twice.
Did he bump into the tyres because the bonnet had come up because it wasn't fitted back down in the pit lane?
Well, maybe that's a good theory.
And then when he hit the tyres and the car rocked, the bonnet went back down again, and now as soon as he started moving, it's come back up again.
No, I think I was being a bit unfair about him trying too hard.
Yeah, see, it's not attached. You see, it's not attached to the front there. The moment he moves, I mean, what's he doing now? Like 5 miles an hour.
It's like one of those.
And of course, your driver's so low, he's only basically just looking out over the top of the dashboard. It's not like in a normal road car where your eyes are halfway up the windscreen.
Yeah, so it's not ideal, but he can...
he can see out underneath it, yeah. Not doing much for the aero, and it will get you a black and orange flag, won't it?
Lights on, so he's about to start his lap.
Yeah.
He needs one as well, down in 14th at the moment.
Yeah.
Tom should have the pace in his Elise, but he needs...
Ooh. Don't want to be thumping the curbs quite so hard, maybe.
It's a very fine line you've got to walk, because if you need to take them to open the corner up, but you take too much, then you start to struggle to get the traction down coming out, so you get too much air time.
So the cars were doing 150 miles an hour round the back. Apparently they're not. They're doing 149.6, 240 Ks. But they were quicker than that earlier on. It's a lively little beast, isn't it? Oh, crikey, O'Reilly.
Not holding back, is he?
Come on, Nicky, you've already left yellow paint on the barriers, so you don't have to put blue out there as well. Yeah. Oh. Tinkle, tinkle, noise of bits falling into engine bay there, I think.
As soon as that bonnet line is anything, and it needs to be absolutely airtight shut, because otherwise air gets into the engine bay area, and then the whole aerodynamics of the car is...
Well, think what 150 mile an hour wind does to the roof of a house. Takes it out, off and puts it in another county. It's going to do the same with the bonnet.
You hold your hand out the window at 80 miles an hour, and they're doing double that, pretty much.
Yeah. John Phillippe's last lap put him up to 8th position. That's a really strong run from Philippi.
Guerreri's committed through here.
Yeah, well,
just to see where he ends up.
He's committed through everywhere, isn't he? This is a faster lap from him as well.
Currently lying 4th.
And he stays 4th.
Still his quickest lap.
Oh, 4 thousandths of a second behind Rio Michigami.
That was a bit of a brown trouser moment.
And then couldn't hold it down at the chicane, which is a bit of a shame.
That was the run to the flag on that one.
Yeah, Nicky was on a really good one. And that's what happens, you know, you're really, really pushing hard, and then you'll overstep the marker fraction. Now he's going for another one. Here we go.
He was on a good one. That could have put him up to P2 or something.
Ah,
That's,
I'm saying the bonnet pins have dropped out. Oh, hang on a minute, here we go. No, somebody's saying you can't do that. We're going to have to do something else. I'm sensing this is not going to be a good race weekend for Nesta Girolami, because we don't have the option that we had many seasons ago of getting up into the top 8 or top 10 and benefiting from the reverse grid for race 2. Means if Nesta Girolami stays where he is without a lap, he will be 16th and last on both grids. And on a street circuit, he ain't getting very far up the order from there.
Yeah, Huff needs a strong lap here. He's lying down in 9th at the moment, so...
See, right now that'll do, because you're going through into Q2. So it's only outside the top 12 now that grid positions are sealed in. Nicky Katzberg on another hot one.
Okay, I made a mistake, but also something feels off about the car. Please advise, do you want me to continue and try another lap or abort? Continue, quickest first and second sector, Nicky.
Well, he knew he was on a good one, didn't he? First sector not better for Katzberg, but then his previous best was on that last lap. And don't have a way of telling from our timing screens how close he is to his previous best on this next run. This is Huffy at the chicane. We've lost one of the 2 pylons by that exit curb, haven't we? Or that apex curb.
He's still got a bit of time to get Girolami out, but I think he's going to be...
Well, right now, he needs to be sitting in the car, doesn't he, Matt? Zen as you like. Absolutely zoned out of all of this panic, because when he is released from the pit lane, it is going to be a 1-lap hero charge. Katzberg goes 4th fastest. That was a good lap from Katzberg. Second sector was better than his previous best, and the 3rd sector was good as well. So Katzberg up to 4th. Tom Chilton 5th is the best. No, Mehdi Banani in 2nd. We didn't note that. He is the best of the Citroens. So at the moment, Honda, Citroen, Honda, Volvo, Citroen, Citroen. A lot of Citroens there up at the top. And all of the Citroens up at the top. John Philippi now eased down to 10th place, almost all of the Citroens. 11th and 12th, Jan Ellershey and Aurelian Panis there. They are going, at the moment, into Q2. Oh, Kevin Gleeson just got eased out. He is 7/10 away from making it through into Q2.
Let's hope Bjorg's on a big first sector. Let's hope he's through the Gleeson area. Unfortunately,
Kevin Gleeson's at turn 6, which is the sort of hairpinny roundabouty bit that Nesta Girolami doesn't like very much. Huff's on a bit of a chunter as well. Green flag in sector 1, so if he stitches another lap together on the end of this one, we went 1.2 away. No, so not much point in doing it. Look at Ted Björk though. Oh no, squarely over the chicane and takes a bollard out. Don't think that lap is going to be allowed to count. We'll have to have another look at it in replay just to see what race control will see. They'll take a look at that. They'll take a steward's report. Ooh. Observer's report. That will go to the stewards. It's quick so far. It should put him on the top of the times. It does. But did he take too much of that chicane? Here we go.
That was...
Do you know, I'm saying his inside wheels, oh, they were on the curb.
Have they been warned, though? Because, you know, those sleeping policemen are you know, I say they're self-policing. I thought that was Bjorg after the chicane then. Because
Red flag.
It gets to a point they start damaging the
Red
car.
flag. Nesta Girolami, talk about kicking a man when he's down. How have the team not responded to that and said stop? And they've red flagged it for this bollard.
Really?
Red flag on the track. Everybody will come back in, and the clock is paused with 8 minutes and 24 seconds to go.
As you say. Oh.
Yeah, he avoided it there and then accelerated back into the tyres.
Same place as the others. Same place as the others.
Yep. That was a little earlier, wasn't it? Is that what the red flag is for, or was it for the loose bollard? I thought that was a little earlier.
The problem with these cars, once you lock that front axle up, it's very hard to unlock it.
Yeah, and if it stalls then...
Even if you start cadence braking, because obviously we don't have any electronic goodies like ABS brakes or anything like that. It's all banned. So, yeah, you lock that front axle. That's why you see some of the other cars, they weave and squirm under the heavy braking. And it's what the drivers have done is they've wound more brake to the rear of the car. And that will start, as I say, oh, they're actually putting it back in place.
Yeah. They got the Hilti anchors out. Others are available and are repositioning the pylons. Stay with us as qualifying will recommence in a few moments. Are in your racing car, same as the... Well, red flag is out and remains out for pylons to be replaced at the final, not final chicane, let's, which one is it? The turn 19, 20, 21 chicane. 29 corner track here, over 4.7 kilometres in Villarreal. As you can see, lots of fans trackside, every available perch. And indeed some available bream are being used for sitting on. Right, pylons back in. And here we go, this is where they disappeared from. Norby took one out, and Nicky Katzberg.
Bjorg, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Ted Bjork, yeah, took out its bedfellow. Now, I don't know where that is, but I think we need to know, Matt. I think that's where we need to be going after work.
That's outside the back of our commentary booth, isn't it? The paddling pool?
No, that's the little paddling pool that was set up as a comedy joke. No, I need to know where that is. That looks like a very fine place for the kids to spend the afternoon once they've finished watching racing cars going fast. Unexpected delay. Oh, the ice cream van's coming around. 2.99s, please. Strawberry sauce. Yeah, please. Strawberry sauce. Lap 6 for car 62 disallowed.
Oh,
Ted Bjork.
Surprise, yeah, surprise.
Well, his inside wheels were on the curbing, so that means they weren't on the track. So he was all four wheels.
So what? Where was he in the pile before he did that lap?
Sixth-ish, seventh-ish. Session will restart in 2 minutes 40 seconds. We're being told by race control. Well, I can tell you where he was. In fact, he was 9th because the timing screen has now responded to that lap deletion and has dropped Ted Bjork back down to 9th place. At which stage, not a drama. As long as he stays in 9th in the remaining 8 minutes and 24 seconds, he will go through into Q2. At the moment, outside the top 12, Kevin Gleeson 13th, Manuel Fernandez 14th, Daniel Nudge 15th, Nestor Girolami 16th, Tom Coronel not driving. Yeah, and the problem with hitting that chicane so squarely, watch that barrier in front. Yeah, that's close enough.
That's pretty close enough.
Yeah. That is the big problem there, is that if you really get that wrong, and the longer the race goes on and the tireder the tyres are, and the more you're trying to push to build up a gap behind you to do your joker lap late, the more likely you are to hit that front and centre and aviate your way into a barrier. The barriers here are not safer barriers. They are not cushioned. They are metal barriers and concrete walls. Street circuits have a habit of fighting back. Great view inside a modern racing car, Matt, at the network of tubing that makes up the roll cage, because the roll cage is now not just about driver protection. It's about stiffening the entire car, and in a lot of championships you're allowed to have the roll cage extending to suspension pickup points and all of that, so that it helps stiffen the entire thing and not just the monocoque.
Well, yeah, gone are the days where it's, you know, the broad speeds and whoever were converting road cars. They go down to the local dealerships or get one from the manufacturer and convert them. And these are bespoke from the ground up. Yes, they've got to start with ostensibly a, you know, the original shell or whatever, but they are tailor-made and everything in there. And so what happens in years gone by, they used to be able to bolt a seat in the passenger, you know, and be able to take some journalists or sponsors and everything. That is very, very difficult now, because when you see in them, you can see the amount of electronics all over the floor, all the pipe work for oil systems, air systems, everything.
A little bit of barrier repair work going on up at turn 6. And I think Kevin Gleeson was returned from there. We are going... This is one of those opportunities where the race director has got a couple of things that are on the to-do list, and then you get something where you go, right, OK, now we need to stop that. Right, everybody, you fix this, this and this. Well, that barrier's had a bit of attention. This is Thiago, off on oil, right at the start of the session.
That barrier's been like Frank Bruno's boxing career, isn't it?
And then, just as he had vacated, in went Nesta Girolami, further in and deeper. Kevin Gleeson's been off there. Girolami a second time in the same spot, it looked like. Thiago at least avoided biffing the barriers, didn't he? He just got it to a halt just as it sort of rolled up to the tyre wall. So we were due to be starting right now. However, first period of qualifying remains suspended. As soon as we have a chance, we'll send the cars back out and get qualifying underway once more. After qualifying, of course, we have Mach 3. And that's got to be pretty tough, trying to chase your teammates around without making mistakes.
And the other thing with that, Martin, is Girolami the walking wounded for the Volvo squad. So,
yeah,
Volvo have the upper hand in Mach 3 at the moment. But the Hondas will definitely be smelling blood this time round. Michigami's going well, but oh, it looks so. It might have done some of the concrete.
Push the barriers back.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yes, look with it. Right, so they've got to line that up now.
That is a fair old hit to be able to do that.
Let's get down to the pit lane and find out what is going on at Volvo. Let's hear from Al.
Yeah, down here with Alexander Majewski. Well, the red flag has helped Bebu somewhat with fixing the car, but what's going on with these boys?
Well, I think this is a very unforgiving track. There was an area on the track where some of the cars had a problem. Another competitor also went off a little bit, not as bad. So clearly there was something on a portion of the track where was something different. Obviously, Bebu went into the wall, managed to come back into the office, and now we're a little bit helped by the red flag, of course, so we're probably going to get him out so he can do another attempt and crash the car again, hopefully.
Fingers crossed he will not be doing that again. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay. Very straight explanation, and no, I'm sure subtleties would be lost in my Russian, and no insult intended then. But yes, we hope he doesn't crash the car again. That I don't think that was because if he does, we're going to fire him. I think that was no. We hope he gets a clear lap. Clearly.
Well, I wouldn't argue with him. He could have never mind the crane. He could move the barriers himself.
John Philippi, like everybody else, remaining in the car because we are on QRA here, ready to go at a moment's notice.
When I see this, it reminds me of Tom Boardman's action.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly that.
And, you know, he did do a proper job of moving the concrete barriers.
Yeah, there's a little bit of cleany uppery.
Destroying it. Get rid of the evidence quick.
Yeah, get that red plastic off. It's all right. He's already twonked it.
Looking at Volvos, it reminds me of Volvo front headlights. It reminds me of back in the day when Tim Harvey nerfed Alan Menuoff when it was Menu v Rydell for the championship. Tim Harvey was with Volvo with Rickard Rydell, and he accidentally got into the back of Menu at Snetterton. And there was pleading ultimate innocence, as Tim does. And then they played the in-car cameras back, and he had a headlight cam, and one of the mechanics goes and smears grease over the headlight to get rid of the headlight cam. Okay. And then they didn't realise also that the sound was playing, recording, and the mechanic sticks his head in the car, and Tim goes, "Is it done?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's done."
All right.
Got him
Nice.
hook, line, and sinker.
Nice. Okey-dokey.
Yeah, I think he ended up at the MSA for that one.
Well, wouldn't be the first time, and probably won't be the last time that championship's been decided in the courts after it was all sorted out. Reassembly of Nesta Girolami's damaged Volvo continues, clearing up of oil on the track continues, sorting out barriers continues. What do Honda think at the moment? Alessandro Mariani from Yas is with Alex Ligui.
Well, Thiago's home circuit. Last year, obviously, he won here, main race. Norby also did very well here. So Hondas do have a reputation of doing very well here. So that that lap from Ted must have ruffled feathers a little bit, despite the fact that it's been disallowed.
I have the same experience we did last year with Muller, that the last corner made a big improvement the last lap. So now the marshal decided to disallow the time. So I think that the pace is much better than the present situation, but the time he did was really, really impressive. So I think that cutting or not respecting the line in the corner, that corner, you can improve at least half a second. That is a lot.
So you're feeling quite positive for the weekend? Do we think that Hondas do have the pace enough?
Yes, but in the past we were very good in free practice 1, free practice 2, Q1, and then in Budapest in Q3 or in Q2 we were suffering a lot, so I will wait for the end of the session to be sure about the result. We knew before that the carrier is pretty good, the new specs works for sure better here than in other circuits, but I don't know where is the limit of the other cars.
And tell us a little bit more about your thoughts of the Joker lap as well.
Joker laps is difficult to judge looking at the few laps that they did in the free practice. I'm very curious to see what's happened. I think that is a bit dangerous. This is my concern, and at the end, I think that we are taking a risk maybe for nothing. So, but anytime there is something new, we have to be positive as attitude, and maybe it's better to wait for the race.
I think that this is obviously a pretty challenging circuit in itself. We saw Thiago already run on.
And tomorrow we have already a joker that is rain, because the rain seems to be pretty sure. So I don't think that with the rain the joker lap will be fantastic, because the visibility will be very bad. And there is a part of the joining of the two lanes that is not easy.
However, fingers crossed that Honda will pull it out of the bag once again.
Thank you.
Alessandro Mariani always very happy to chat about any subject to do with motor racing and or above. But he was correct the first time, cutting the chicane. He corrected himself back into team speak, having come out with the phrase that pays in the first instance. And he's absolutely correct. The weather forecast, as we said a little earlier, is showing that it is increasingly likely we will have rain in the race. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that even if it rains in the vicinity, it'll necessarily rain in the centre of town where we are. It might be somewhere on the hillside, might not. Mr. Girolami's car is gradually going back together.
It looks like they've done a pretty good job with it, aren't they? Shows how flimsy and lightweight those bonnets are, getting all the weight out the top of the car.
But it's just an aero structure covered in, made of carbon, isn't it? Covered in a wrap, so it's not, not a bonnet as you would recognise it on your own car. It's an engine bay cover as much as anything else, actually, is what it is. Yeah. Selfies and Super Bock, that sounds like a decent afternoon to me. I'll leave the selfies and have a Super Bock though. Shade started to come round from the back of the building. That's just around the corner from our TV compound. So part of the university area, university radio station is just between us and pit lane.
But the local scenery.
Now this wall is taking a while to reassemble, because of course once the middle bit gets pushed back, then tend to have to start to move the edges away, move the middle, and then put the edges back again.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get your fingers caught in there, would you?
Definitely not.
Esteban, we've seen some quite hairy moments from some of our drivers out there, but despite that, you seem to be pushing very, very hard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it looks so from the TV. Yeah, it's a fun track. It's a very challenging track with nice corners, slow, fast. We are obviously trying to get close to the limits. Doing a very good job. I'm enjoying it a lot. Obviously trying to get the perfect setup and pushing mostly in Q2. Hopefully we can get through Q1. And in Q2, hopefully I'll go for the top 5 would be my mission. I know it's a very tight, probably top 10 drivers at the moment, but we are going to try to make a good job.
Talked about Yannick Lachey in terms of a guy who just loves his job and has got pretty much one speed. Esteban Guerreri is another one of those guys. Loves motor racing, everything to do with it, can drive anything competitively and efficiently. And he caught up with him this morning. He's loving this place. And Matt, that's one of the funny things, isn't it? The closer you are to the edge, the more racing drivers like it, because it's the high wire act then, isn't it? You know, here there's no gimmies, there's no mulligans. You can't, oh, can I just do that again? No, you can't. You've got to be on it from the moment you leave the pit lane till the moment you get out the car.
But I think that's about same about any street circuit, Martin. And, you know, I know drivers who've, all their life, they've wanted to race at Monaco or something like that. And then they've actually got there and then they've hated it because the pressure, one, to perform, to put a good lap in, and that you've got to be on your mettle, and if the car's not perfect, you know, you could end up in the wall, and you know, it's game over, not for you, but for the whole team for the weekend. So it's, I thought they got a gas burner on his face then, who's trim his beard with a bit of singeing. But no, I mean, street circuits are just horrendously unforgiving and difficult. You know, we've seen the bumps and the undulations and how the cars patter, and the, you know, especially around here with the high speed they're doing. So it's going to be, right, we've got a resuming in 16:15, so that's 7 minutes away.
Minute and a half. No, because it's
my watch is slow.
13 and a half now, so yeah. So we've got
my watch straight.
8 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yeah.
So there is time. There's one of the great bridges that Matt really, really didn't enjoy coming over my way here. That's not the biggest either, that's just the one into town. It gives you a great indication of what this region of northern Portugal is like. Very mountainous, very lush, hot in the summer, cooler evenings as well, not terminally hot.
Yeah, I will admit I made Martin Haven drive all the way down the centre of that bridge.
Yeah.
And the next one, and the one after.
Yeah. And I hadn't even thought about it when we came up last year, and then as soon as you said, oh no, then I'm thinking, oh, it's quite a long way down, yeah. Luckily there was no brake incident, so that was all fine. Engines fired up, and in 30 seconds, pit lane will be open. That jolt there was not Thiago settling himself, it was the car settling itself down off the jacks. We saw Norby being re-strapped into the car. I hope he hasn't lost another couple of kilos in the middle of qualifying. We are almost ready to go again. Green flag, 8 minutes, 23 seconds of qualifying remain. In Q1, then we still have to do Q2, Q3 and Mach 3. It's turning into quite the session at the moment. Barrier repairs of various different denominations have halted the session for 15 minutes or so. Coming out now, and there's the race control building, Automobile Club of Villarreal, where they have been racing on the streets here since 1931, so 86 years ago. Can you imagine what it was like? Well, I can tell you what it was like. In the first race, spectators struggled to keep up with the furious pace of the bolides because of the dust storm that they created, because of course they were not metalled roads in those days, and so it was basically one glorious rally stage through the middle of town. Then you see the three individual race engineers for our 3 Polestar Cyan Racing Volvos. Let's hear from Ted Björk.
Okay, Ted. Still Q1, last attempt. 1 or 2 flying laps if necessary. Keep an eye on P6 on your outlap now and take a bit careful there on your flying lap.
And Ted Björk, who had a lap disallowed that put him fastest, mainly because it wasn't actually legal, but, you know, 9th place at the moment, potentially in the danger zone, actually. Outside the top 12, Kevin Gleeson, Manuel Fernandez, Daniel Nagy, Nestor Girolami, I mean, and especially Nestor Girolami, who hasn't actually had a fast lap.
I mean, the one thing in Björk's favour is that he was very strong. I know Mariani, as he would do, went on about the final chicane, and it would have made a big difference, but he was a second up the road with the final chicane. He's got the speed in that car to be banging on the door of the Hondas and right there in the top 3. So all he's got to do is stay calm, find a bit of space. He's got 6 minutes left to go, so he's got a good 2 to 3 laps. You know, if he makes a little mistake, he's got another run, so he's just got to be cool and try and string a good one together.
Yeah. Can't panic. Definitely not can't panic.
Is this working right? Oh, yeah, Girolami's letting him go, so... Is it? No, Girolami's gone, so...
Girolami's jumped Björk. Girolami needs to rock on with this. He hasn't got a lap in. He doesn't have a banker. He doesn't have a quick lap. He doesn't have a lap. He still doesn't have a lap. He's just about to start one now. And there are 5 minutes and 42 seconds. It's a very nearly 2-minute lap. So he's got this shot and
2 more.
Well, potentially, yeah, 2 more. So, and actually, that's all you need. Although, of course, he hasn't done a lap yet in this session, which has been going nearly an hour. So he's not quite dialed into the track. Yeah, well, there's the first job. He's got round corner 6 without using the barriers.
He had a big lock-up on the right front going into there, so he's just... The problem is the margin for overdriving it and wringing the amount you need to out of it. Michelet's fastest first sector, so he goes quicker again. Now, what's he compared to Girolami? Girolami's way off him. 7/10 off him in the first sector. If he uses this for the banker lap, he hasn't got to beat Michelet's. All he's got to do is get in the top 12. When he carries on at this sort of pace, he should be somewhere and somewhereabouts. He's holding station in front of Björk, so it can't be too much of a disgraceful lap.
Michelet's on a very quick lap, fastest of all potentially. The ultra lightweight not at all very well. Norby putting his illness worries behind him. And again, Matt, even here you can see the car really just right up on its ride height. Dancing around.
Might sneak into the top 10 with this, but he needs to use it as the banker. Oh, yeah, it's a big
Norby, a 57.01. And across the line, Girolami, 1.9 away, 2.4 away in the top 12 by the skin of his teeth. And that bumps out Aurelian Panis. There's Zoltan Zengo. He's just seen Aurelian Panis bumped out. Panis is out on track, but not a quicker lap. Oh, a 2:05.5 by Aurelian Panis. He's got a lot more pace than that. Clearly didn't find a quick lap. Rob Huff on one as well. Second fastest and fastest of all in the final sector. Quicker even than Norby. Rob Huff 3/10 away. That's more than enough right now.
Okay, Rob, we are P2, 57.3. Very good lap.
You're not going to get 11 cars going quicker than that, so time to head back to the pit lane for a fraction before we go out into Q2. He will make Q2, really ought to make Q3, I would have thought.
Yeah, save the tyres, save the engine, save the driver.
Yeah.
Don't risk the car. Yeah, we were all all harping on about Michigami doing a great lap, but he's now sort of slowly slid down to the latter half of the top 10, 8th now.
He has a little
and a little bit more in the danger zone. He's just sort of, there's a few in that back end who, if they get a good clean lap, could leapfrog him and just push him out.
Manuel Fernandez across the line, 13th. Raced here before, but never driven a World Touring Car. Raced here last year in the European Touring Car Cup in a Seat Leon, which is a very, very different kettle of fish from this. And on a track that requires so much driver commitment. Look at that from Michigami. Twitchigami, more like there. Do you see what I did?
Yeah, he's,
what a good approach on the end of the lap. 9 tenths away. And this will put him very firmly up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, this will bang him back up in the top 5. Just needs a good, clean last sector.
This might be good enough for third, ahead of Tiago. No, fourth ahead of third ahead, fourth ahead of Banani, rather. Yeah, Banani 1.09 off the front. 1.1, sixth position, that'll do.
That's okay. That's
all you need, all you need. John Philippi in 12th. Kevin Gleeson, Manuel Fernandez, both have just jumped Aurelian Panis. So Panis and teammate Daniel Nagy, 15th and 16th at the moment. Seems unlikely that they will move further up the order. A bit on the limiter there, wasn't he? Yeah, the engine bouncing off the limiter. None of your soft cuts there.
So Lachey's last lap, last throw of the dice. He's 10th, so he's safe at the minute.
Fastest speed of all in this session, again from Mehdi Banani in the Citroen. Is that why Banani's car is looking so much twitchier than some of the others? Because he's got lift on the rear wing instead of drag, or instead of downforce. 240.5 kilometers an hour, so 151 miles an hour. It's Aurelian Panis. I think this is a cruise back to the pits. It is. Checkered flag is out. And in the pits are Mikulits, Huff, Montero, Banani, Björk, Chilton, Guerreri and Fernandez. And everybody else on their way back in.
I don't understand why those two Zenga Hondas are so off the pace compared to the Castrol cars.
Well, the word I got out of that was gearbox.
Yeah, because both
Or that's all, folks.
Nagy,
I think that was gearbox. Well,
they can drive.
Yes,
they can drive.
But both new. I mean, Panis has not raced touring cars before.
No, I don't accept that. I don't accept that. I accept that a bit, but not to be 3 seconds or 2.5, 3 seconds off.
Yeah, but they're not 2.5 or 3 seconds off so much at Monza. And have they got the same spec engine and so on? And
well, I was told they had. They didn't start with, but they had now. But the game moves on again, doesn't it?
Yes.
It keeps moving.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So they may have a start of 2017 spec engine and Honda's development is...
Which is the problem with McLaren in Formula One. They keep on developing and making the car better, and Honda making it better. But Mercedes and that aren't standing still.
No, exactly.
Ferrari, they're pushing just as hard.
Yeah, a very valid point indeed. Well, Aurelian Panis with...
He'll be disappointed with that.
With a Panis family coloured helmet there. Yeah, he is disappointed. There's no question in that body language, is there? Gearbox let him down. And everybody else there, you saw Daniel Nagy standing. Everybody else there in the garage in Zengo overalls, in fact, are their drivers from the European Touring Car Cup, which is also racing this weekend. To bystanders in the Castrol Honda garage, watching Thiago Montero and his teammates as they get ready to go out into Q2. And we will be starting in 50 seconds, our second part of qualifying. Brand new driver in the championship, Manuel Fernandez. Alex Legui is with him here.
A little frustrating for you, disappointing.
Yes, my best lap was in fact it was not my best lap. I made some mistakes, and the final result was nice considering all the equation of my participation. But if we had one more free practice, I'm sure I could give 2 steps ahead, and I will be there. So yes, it was very nice. I'm very happy, but it could be much better. Thank you.
Local man from Villarreal, born and bred here, Manuel Fernandez. So not just a home race for him, but really a home race for him. Raced here last season in European Touring Car Cup and making his World Touring Car debut here. Matt Neal, he might know the track, but these cars, as we've heard from all the newcomers over the last few seasons, are very difficult to get used to.
Yeah, you've got to be committed, and to come into a circuit like this where you know it, but it's unforgiving. And if you don't know the car that's underneath you, you've got to, as we were on about earlier, you've got to make the car dance.
Yeah.
It's not about driving it fast. It's a balancing act. And the commitment you need through these blind corners at this speed is phenomenal. And you know the guys yourself against are no idiots.
No, exactly right. I mean, exactly right. These guys are, and you know, so many of them in the field now are really very experienced with these cars indeed. They've been in the championship since before this set of regulations was introduced, so they're fully up to speed. So to come in here and have any chance of success with no testing beforehand is a big ask. And Manuel Fernandez to be applauded for finding the opportunity to do so here in his Lada, in the third of the Ladas, the Lada Granta Sports. So drivers on their warm-up lap in a 15-minute session of Q2.
Okay, first attempt in Q2. One flying lap only. Make sure you have a big gap or in front of Michigami when you start your flying lap. Okay, copy that.
And also, don't go off at the chicane. Ted Björk is quite a long way in front of Michigami, actually, because he's got Nesta Girolami behind him. So, Ted Björk really did have a very good lap going. Don't forget, this will not decide pole positions for both races. It will decide the pole position for the opening race. Whoever finishes 10th in this group will have pole position for the opening race. We'll also decide our fastest 5, who then go through into the single lap shootout that is Q3. The fastest person of all in Q3 will be the pole sitter for the main race Sunday. Whether that is wet or dry rather remains to be seen. Just only a couple of days ago, there was a slight suggestion of weather. And the closer we get to Sunday, the more the suggestion turns into a bit of a likelihood. Thiago Monteiro out of corner 6. See the car. You can hear it as well, can't you? Because our cameras are so close to the road, unlike on most Grand Prix style circuits. Right by the barriers, and you can really hear how hard the tyres have to work, Matt.
That's a strong first sector for both the Hondas, Monteiro and Michelets. Monteiro sets a good banker, then Michelets goes and just trumps him by not a lot. 400s.
Yeah, third quickest at the moment, Ted Björk on the first sector, 4th Nicky Katzberg in their Volvos.
Yeah, the 2 Castrol cars are up the road from everybody in Sector 1 at the moment.
You see Norby 37,000.
You can see the car moving around under it.
Yeah, you really can, can't you? Oof!
Well, that's pretty clean. Yeah. That's all right.
It's good enough.
I think
It's legal. And Norby goes quicker again in Sector 2. So Tiago is going to come across the line first, but Norby is going to come across the line faster. Unless he makes a kibosh of the final sector. Big braking episode down here into the roundabout. And he's got a sweep across the line.
What the target for everyone is, 56.2.
And Norby will come across the line in about 5 seconds time and does not go quicker, 56.39. So again, Norby losing ground in that final sector. Oh, and the bollards have been removed again, and Ted Björk clatters the wall. Left rear.
No, left front.
Is it left front?
He was greedy. Oh, I'll tell you what, that'll have knocked his tracking out as well.
Rubbed it all the way down the wall, because that left rear wheel arch is definitely missing as well. So he's going for another one. Yellow flags are out there, so he's ruined everybody's qualifying. So until they can get the debris in, nobody can go quicker in sector 3.
He's walking wounded, Martin, I reckon.
Yep.
That's him done.
Right, well, it was quick enough to be 5th fastest. So actually, what he needs to do now is get into the pits, because he's not going to improve now if the tracking's out of line, and they're going to have to get him out first in Q3 if he remains 5th. So he needs to get to the team.
Well, they've got this Mach 3's the big one now they're going to lose out on.
Well, again, there is time to do that if they pull him out of Q3, because the worst that could happen is he'll be in the top 5 on the grid for the main race. Still yellow flags out in sector 3. Basically, that's a green flag now, so Marshall has legged it across the line, picked up the debris. Again, thank you to the boys and girls, men and women in white, as they are here, and orange suits, who look after everybody, keep the racing going, keep everybody safe. Here, as well as everywhere else, on board with Rob Huff in the inset picture. And this is genuinely as quick as it looks. He's having a wee bit of a cruise there. Tom Chilton isn't, though. Tom Chilton can't afford to be at the moment, he's 12th. Oh, there's some commitment.
He makes it.
I think he might have been good there. I think he might just have been in. Needs Rob Huff to stay well out of the way. He's going to go the long way round, but that is the racing line. Swing out, sister. John Philippi on a flyer. Well, not on a flyer, rather on a slowing down lap. Here comes Chilton on that flying lap. Now, where is this going to put him? At the moment, 1.5 behind would put him firmly in the top 6. And at the line, 2.0. That's enough. 6th place it is. And El Haché with a personal better lap, but still 11th. Frustratingly off the top 10. El Haché's got to go for another lap. Got to go for another lap. You can see the strike on the left front corner of Ted Björk's car, but he also took the left rear wheel arch off. Getting through a lot of gaffer at Volvo. Dink.
That's what he's done to his... I hope he's got away with that. There we go. Ooh, okay.
That was a well-placed camera, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nice job, Olivier. Here we go.
There we go.
Gosh, and he,
well,
he hit that.
He might have got away with it. He might.
Well, he hit the tyre stack, didn't he, rather than a metal barrier? Ooh. Yeah. And that's where, when you're part of a marshalling team, exactly why the teamwork is so important.
Polestar Volvo definitely going through the gaffer take supplies this weekend, haven't they?
6.5 minutes to go. Jan El Haché needs a lap. Is there a problem with the car?
Push on the in lap, yeah, push on the in lap. Okay, we're P11 and we need to find 7/10 space. We need to find 7/10, okay?
Yeah.
Only 7/10.
Crikey, yeah, only. Mind you, on 29 corners, that is a tiny fraction per corner, isn't it?
Yes, still 17.
Yeah, no, I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah, that is a big slice of time. If he wasn't being a hero before, he's going to have to get his underpants on the outside of his race suit.
1:58.5.
Yeah.
That is possible, I think, for him.
Yeah, I think so too.
But Michigami's on the bubble at the moment. He's 10th.
Yep.
In the third factory Honda.
And Banani
he
ninth.
could potentially go quicker. He's got a car in it, under him that can go quicker.
Well, listen, Michigami, Banani and Girolami are covered by 0.2 of a second. That's a very
And I would say
small
all
gap.
that three should be able to go faster.
Yeah.
They have the equipment to do it.
But if they don't, and El Haché gets a good lap, he might vault all three of them.
Yeah, El Haché's, you have to say he is ringing a sponge with that larder at the minute. He's certainly trying to drive the wheels off it.
I wouldn't say he's trying to get blood out of a stone, because it was a winner midway through last season, the Lada. However...
At Russia.
Yeah. What could you be saying? However...
Ivan's got out of bed now, he's turned up.
Now, he's been here all day, we just haven't bumped into him, that's all. He's obviously seen us coming, which isn't hard in a crowd, is it? Let's be honest. He says, oh, no, I'm not to him, matter. Is that as idiot?
I'm pushing 2 miles on this lap. I don't want to be behind too much cars on my first flyer.
It's not just about pedaling a car fast and keeping it off the metal, is it?
He doesn't really... Oh, that's a big slide. That's a 200 and another one.
Yeah, baby.
Crikey.
Hey, never mind Joker laps here. There's a career for him in rallying or loose surface racing when he wants to, in rallycross maybe. Look at that. That's an Ivan Muller style attitude of a car, isn't
That's
it?
Hanging on.
That's Muller. You could see Ivan having a car with a setup like that. He was never worried when the car was getting sideways at the back. They don't normally get sideways.
That was one of the problems when Ivan was developing the two-wheel drive audio from the four-wheel drive, and then everyone else jumped in and no one else could drive it.
No, he didn't care, did he?
It was too loose.
That car was ludicrous. I remember seeing it at Thruxton. He was almost having to drive it through the side windows.
But he'd done 10 years of ice racing at that point, hadn't he?
Yeah.
He was the Meister.
Yeah. No, he just threw it at the corners at speeds, frankly, that the designers would have been horrified to see. And somehow he got away with it most of the time.
Oh, he's...
Whoa, Nicky! No.
Oh.
No. That corner's really his nemesis on a quick lap, isn't it? That's not the first and may not be the last.
Yeah, but is it his? I mean, you can see that Volvo bottoming out. You know, it's porpoising on the bumps there. It can't be pleasant in there. Montero's close.
Yep.
Oh.
Norby was
half asleep
in the middle of the road. Well, he wasn't bimbling, but he was in the middle of the road. See, it does look more composed, the Civic, over those bumps. And I just wonder whether it is just because it's a slightly shorter wheelbase car and it's not having to be run as aggressively
it's almost like the Volvo's too soft. It's clap sync.
Well, they had it on a rig, have they? Yeah, soften everything off. No,
the Honda
always.
does look a lot more better composed.
Is that just their knowledge of the track and of the car and their damping work? I mean, so much of that.
Michigami.
Is that him going very slowly there? Well, he's still in 10th, isn't he?
So could we have a Honda on pole for both races?
Right, El Haché's on the way out of the pit lane. El Haché needs a big lap to get in. This is his out lap. There's Rob Huff, third fastest at the moment.
Well, he better get his skates on, Martin, because he's only got 1 minute 20 to get round and start his lap.
Okay, well, he's started his lap, I think, because he's just completed his out lap.
Right, well, we'll find out when he goes through sector 1.
Yeah. See where he is. Banani 9th. Of course, Ideally, he'd like to be in the top 5. Oh, John Phillips jumped up ahead of Jan Erlaché, so Erlaché now 12th.
Well, that makes no difference.
No.
The lap Thiago did would actually put him 2nd, so he is now done a time which was worthy of 1st and 2nd place. Those Volvos, Katzbergs, they don't like that last chicane, do they?
No, Girolami had to take avoiding action there on the exit. That was not smooth at all, was it? He had to haul on the helm.
Girolami.
Yeah, he really had to haul on the helm to get it away from that barrier on the left. It wasn't a nice, smooth progression. He was on the way out and then had to really rip it round.
Katzberg stays 4th.
John Philippi in 11th might be a bit of a danger for Rio Michigami. Michigami's got Erlaché behind. Checkered flag is out. Erlaché's had to bail.
No, he didn't get out in time, did he?
Well, he's on a lap, but he's got Michigami bimbling in front of him, so that's the end of that. John Philippi, however, might, just might, boot Michigami out. Norby's lap that left him 2nd best has been disallowed. Here's John Philippi. Oh, Tom Chilton, crikey, Philippi caught a break with that. If Chilton had sideswiped the curbs there, it would have knocked him, or the barriers, it might have knocked him into a spin. It might have been 2 Citroens down, actually. That's not good. Where is he on the 2nd sector? No, not quick enough. 1.9 behind. Oh, no, I don't know. Michigami's 2.3 behind, doesn't quite get there. Close to within half a second, but not enough from John Philippi, I don't think. He had a valiant effort, though. 3/10 behind Rio Michigami. John Boy, that wasn't good, was it?
It wasn't a clumsy driving, but it looked clumsy through there, didn't it? The way the attitude of the car.
Yeah.
Just looks, it's an awkward little chicane.
Really is, isn't it? Really is. So your top 5, Thiago Monteiro, Norbert Mikulits, Rob Huff, Ted Björk and Nicky Katzberg. Mikulits will lose a lap, or his last timed lap, which you assume will be his fastest, so not sure if he's going to stay in the top 5 or not. We'll find out in just a moment. Getting ready for Q3, but our DHL pole sitter for the opening race is Japan's Rio Michigami. Alex Legui is with him down at Honda.
So many smiles. You have made Honda very, very happy. Rio, you are pole for our opening race. What a circuit to have pole at, hey?
Yes, Virale was very difficult. So, but balance is good. Last attack, I think more up lap time. But second, turn 2, turn 3, pit out car traffic problem. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed, best luck for the race.
Yeah, so his last lap was
I'm glad Alex
quicker.
understood that. I didn't understand.
Well, his last lap was quicker, but he actually lost that, and so it was the previous lap that he got, and that was still enough.
I've been
to keep
telling
him in
you
10th
that.
place. Yeah.
For the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, you were right. You were right.
For once.
As always. No, as always. Oh, dinner's over then.
I thought that was a giant sardine then.
That's just behind us at on the corner there.
Local cameraman getting his family in shot.
Yes. All his mates. Got you in, lads. Well done.
Yeah.
That's where that's where the barbecue is,
yeah.
at the hospital right behind us here. Well, John Philippi had a good shot at that, but didn't quite come up with the speed he needed. That's a proper butcher's tool, isn't it?
Don't argue with him.
That is a proper bit of butchering. A nice bit of barbecued pork. Well, another slight delay as we replace all the pylons that have been taken out yet again. John Philippi will be...
He's got a tough weekend ahead of him now,
Yeah.
hasn't he? Sort of just outside the top 10,
11.
both races, in the middle of the pack, but it'll be interesting to see if this Joker lap can shake things up a bit. You never know. You can throw the dice. If you're back there, you've got nothing to lose almost.
That's very true. I mean, the guys who are outside of the top 10...
Oh, they've got a good stock of those bollards for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, those ones all look rather second-hand, don't they? They're mostly covered in black marks from rubber where they've been hit.
Or blue marks from Volvos.
Yeah. The Volvos have been particularly reaping.
Hungry.
Yeah.
Hungry of bollards.
Harvesting bollards.
You could draw a big shark's mouth on the front of them.
With gaffer tape, if they've got any left.
We'll do it tonight while they're not looking.
If they've got any left. Yeah, this is fast turning into an episode of Top Gear where Volvo wake up in the morning and their cars have all been spray painted pink or something. Let's get down to John Philippi at Sebastian Loeb Racing, just missing out on an opening race pole position. Alex Legui is with him.
A frustrating situation there because you were pushing hard. You look like you were having fun out there.
Yeah, it was not bad. I missed, I think, the 10th position for nothing. Someone with in exit lap didn't let me pass enough in enough time, just in time. So I lose a lot of time in sector 1 in my first lap. After I try to push to do the difference, but was not enough. So I did the second lap and I improved my second lap, but yeah, it was too tight. So I'm happy. It's great. It's a great track, great street track. I'm very happy to the job with the team. I hope for tomorrow to have a difficult condition with the wet, maybe, I don't know, for try to do something. Let's see. And maybe to discover the Joker lap.
Are you feeling more at one with your car?
Yeah, it was a bit much better every race. I feel good. I think before the end of the season I can do something very good with the team, and I want to do because I'm here for that, to give myself to the best of myself, and it will be a recompense for us.
Well, you certainly do look like you're pushing hard. Thank you, Jean. Well done.
Yeah, we did have the car up on its toes, and as he said, his first flying lap, and that's always the one where the tyres are giving of their best, got balked in the first sector, and his final attempt caught Rio Michigami in the final sector, in fact, so that didn't really work too well for him either. So a little bit of a compromise qualifying, and despite the fact that the circuit is long enough and fast enough, you always are going to end up catching traffic in all the wrong places. That's just Murphy's Law. Blowers on Thiago Montero's car and with everybody else's. If you wonder what they're all about, Matt, this is all part of the issue with having turbocharged engines in racing cars, right?
Well, a lot of those front ducting, they'll feed intercoolers, they'll feed the brakes, and a lot of those are the key components. So it's not just one thing. It's there. That's why there's lots of them shoved in every hole they can find on the front of the car, as well as in through the doors to try and just cool the driver down a wee bit. Because, we mentioned cool suits earlier. When the car's not running, drivers' cool suits won't be running. Yeah, they'll be working because they are power driven. So, stop the basically boiling in there. Katzberg to set the benchmark.
First of the 5 guys to have one individual lap. This is Q3, fastest 5 from the previous qualifying session, shooting it out for main race pole position. That main race top 5 spots. 6 to 10, 11, 12 and below have already been decided. This is the final part of qualifying.
Katzberg, his style is he's just win or bust, isn't he? I wonder how many times each session Paul Ridgway has to keep telling him, you are the championship leader, you need to finish this session, well, bring a car home.
And you did make the point earlier on that he's, been the hunter, full season with Lada last year. They weren't expecting to win the championship. They weren't expected to win the championship. So they were always, you know, your plucky underdog, and that's a good position to be in. There's, you know, nothing wrong with being Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes, don't get me wrong, but being you know, new boys to the championship for half of the previous season, and then last year his first full season, factory drive, Lada team, da-di-da-di-da. This year, new car, new team, and now halfway through the season, 6 weekends in, he's the points leader. And you're right about that. That is a very, very different mindset, or it can be a very different mindset. You've got to still press on like the Cavalier youth that you are.
He's a very cool customer, but you know, some drivers are just, or sports people in general, are very good at hiding their emotions, and they're still, you know, they're frantic underneath, but they just don't show it.
He's got that typically Dutch, without stereotyping, phlegmatic, kind of almost happy-go-lucky attitude, doesn't he?
I was going to use the word mischievous.
Oh, that too, yes.
In a nice way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
In a real good,
absolutely,
way.
You know, in a way that sparks off Tom Coronel very nicely. Right, here we go. Getting ready to start the quick lap, but it's not happening for him. Why is he not going quickly? Right, he's got an issue with the car because this is the fast lap, and that is not looking like a fast lap. So what he's got to do now is get the car back to the pits and be out of the way of the best guy.
Oh, I have to box. There's something broken on the front. Try and get a lap time in if you can, Nicky. No, I'm not going to take the risk. The front is completely blocked. What feels like is the problem?
I would suggest that the car's had enough curb strikes and something has snapped.
Yeah, is that ominous for tomorrow?
Well, no, that's a very, very good point, because they'll be doing at least as many laps in the races as they've done in any practice session, or certainly in qualifying.
Volvos are definitely the walking wounded at the moment, aren't they? All three of them.
Well, don't forget, though, in the race, we'll do a couple of dozen laps, and they've done more than that in the first 2 free practice sessions, and then all the laps they've done in qualifying. And in qualifying, thumping the curbs probably even more than they will do in the race.
Maybe.
So if we've got to this number of laps in now, however many they've done, it'll be, you know, up towards 40, perhaps over 40 laps. And the last so many at maximum aggression.
They've got 5th place in the back. They should be getting it back to try and fix whatever it is for Mach 3.
And that's exactly why he's coming back in now, isn't it? So that there's some slight chance.
But I hear what he's, you know, Ridgway on the radio. If he can just put a lap in, then if 2 crash, suddenly he's 3rd.
Well, it's like Popmaster, isn't it? Have a guess. Just say anything.
Yeah.
Rather than accept that you're going to get nothing. Ted Björk in the differently styled Volvo.
Sponsored by gaffer tape.
Yeah.
Matches their overalls now, doesn't it? When do they have gaffer taped him?
Nicky is well aware that you're coming from behind, so in any case he will be out of the way, so you don't have to consider him.
Alrighty, that's exactly what Ted Björk wants to hear. You don't want to be setting off here at 11/10ths, Matt, with the fear that your teammate might be in front.
Right in the blind corner.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be on the hot lap, but he might be as you're trying to build up to speed here, or just before the roundabout, coming down to start the lap. So here we go on the flying lap. Clock is running on Ted Björk.
The other worrying thing, Martin, is Katzberg's car's broken at slow speed.
Yes.
Without bashing curbs. Let's see how Björk fares anyway.
There's a lot of very heavily laden car trying to make direction change on this circuit, isn't there? You get the car fully loaded up in a really quick corner, and a braking area thrown in, and then you've got to get off that weighted side and turn hard the other direction.
39.5. That's not bad, but it's not quick enough, I don't think.
The question is, how much tyre have they got left, and how much hotter is the track getting? It was 47 degrees track temperature at the start of this session, which was an hour and a half ago, and the sun is still beating down. So the track is likely 5, maybe even as many as 10 degrees hotter.
Using all the track and some, picking up the dust off the outside. Now this is where they've all been struggling, the Volvos.
And look how much city street you cover in that long corner where you're starting to slow down.
That's 23, 90-degree right.
Don't forget the speed limit around here will be 30 miles an hour. These guys are doing 150, and the top speeds on tracks, on roads that are designed for a top speed of 30 miles an hour. Across the line he comes. He will be fastest. A 56.9.
That's not bad. It's the first time the Volvos have ventured into the 56s.
Yes.
So it's a good banker, and he's got it in his pocket.
156.9. Not completely as quick as what you managed earlier in the qualifying. See how long that will take you. Casper abandoned his time lap, so he has no time in Q3, so you will be at least P4. Let's wait and see. Okay.
So picking up the bollard,
that's not
then the base, then the anchoring bolt.
Well, that isn't good with tyres, is it?
No. Well, that's why he was very sure to pick up that bolt, because, yeah, that will go straight through.
If that comes off in a race, while traffic's going, the crocodile's going through there.
Absolutely agreed. And the problem is, the more times you're trying to re-bolt them into the same hole, it's like when you pull a rule plug out the wall. You then need a bigger roll plug and a bigger screw.
You've seen my wife putting up pictures, haven't you?
I've done my own DIY. I don't need to watch anybody else making a mess of it.
Okay. Come on then, Rob.
Oh, let's stay with this view for a bit. This is such a great view of this circuit. This is the one you use, isn't it, on all your computer games when you're really low and it looks really quick.
But that's the view, if you're racing a car, a supercar, that's the view and that's the aspect you get.
And corner 6, sweeping long left-hander, corner 7, still climbing up the hillside inside town. Sweep out wide there, don't you?
Oof, that's very good first sector.
Isn't it, though?
That's better than Honda pace earlier. Yep. That's on the mark for the best today. As Huffy saved the best till last.
He's going to need to. Oh. Interesting see that from an opposite angle and see how clean that was.
He got away with it, I think. Coming down to the fastest sector.
Oh,
that's good. He took that well.
Yeah.
Still up.
Wasn't as quick as Ted Björk's second sector, 2/10 back, but he was 3/10 up in sector 1. This should see him in front. Great shot from that splitter, and across the line he does go quicker.
Very well.
Stonking lap.
One of the moment, very slow win lap, please. Very slow win lap.
Can't do too slow an in-lap, Marco, because you'll be in the way of the next car. Nestor Girolami there, smiling in the middle of the engineering bench. Ted Björk behind him. Rob Huff fastest from Ted Björk and Nicky Katzberg. 2 to go. The new ultra slim line, Norbert Mikulits, has been feeling very under the weather all week. not quite weak as a kitten, but I bet he feels like it when he gets out of the car at the end of the day, Matt, today especially. It's been such a long day in the car. I bet he's absolutely wrung out.
Yeah, the team doctor will be making sure he's hydrated with all the right things there, Martin, so they'll be pumping plenty of fizzy drinks or whatever. Not, not fizzy drinks, but, you know, hydrating him with the right sort of stuff.
That's the problem, though. It's not getting it in that's the problem. It's keeping it in that's the problem.
Right.
Interesting, isn't it? That very first chicane there, where you hop the curb to the left, you can ruin your lap before you're 3 seconds in, can't you?
Oh, you can ruin it at any point.
Yeah.
Right, where's he going to be in the first sector? These Hondas should be 1 and 2 with the pace they've got. But the other two have got theirs in the bank. So it's down to Norby and Thiago now.
Oh, 1/4 of a second up. Well, there's two things going on here, isn't there? Trying to beat Huff, but also trying to set a lap that his teammate can't beat.
Yeah, I think we're seeing an angry Norby here.
Does Norby do angry? I'm not sure I've ever seen him angry. I think he has phenomenal motivation, and that was not a bad run. Out of quarter 6, the big Matthias house behind us. There's the garage watching on the right-hand side. Ryo Michigami there in the white cap. He's the man who'll start our opening race from pole position. Oh, this is very good.
Not as quick as Huff down the VMAX.
No, but he got to the line quicker. He got to the end of sector 2 quicker. He's gone from 1/4 of a second up to getting on for 3/4 of a second. This progression, if he continues it, he's never had the best final sector, but this should see him 1/2 a second clear of Rob Huff.
Oh, super clean.
Yep. As a whistle, and across the line, 68 hundredths faster.
Wow.
So, in fact, that was the fastest final sector that he's put in and that anyone's put in this session.
They'll be on the radio telling Thiago that. It's definitely, he can't hold back on this one.
Right, 1:56.227 Thiago managed in Q2. The benchmark is a 1:55.846. 1:56 will be close, but no cigar. In fact, his previous best time, were he to match it here, would only see him 3rd. So he'd be starting on row 2 of the grid. At the moment, your front row will be Norby.
And he did a 56.2 in before, didn't he? So that would put him on the front row.
Yes, it would. Just ahead of Rob. Partisan crowds cheering him round on his warm-up lap. And now he starts his fast lap.
You can hear the tyres screeching, can't you?
Yeah. Up to corner 6.
He's got a good clean exit out of there.
Yeah, hasn't he? Very nicely done.
You see the Citroens and the Volvos, and they are on the ragged edge. These Hondas just look so composed. I'm sure the drivers aren't inside, but oh, he's down on Norby in sector 1.
Yeah. In fact, he's pretty much on a par with Matt, isn't he? With Rob, rather. You're Matt.
Yeah. Sector 2, it's going to be all about sector 2 because he, you know, Norby was fast in 3, but could he be faster? But he made up such a chunk in sector 2.
Oh, you can even hear the floor and the splitter.
Oh,
yeah.
I think that car's going.
I think that is clean enough to be a sustainable lap. But Thiago is not going to beat Norby to the line, is he? It will be a Castrol Honda lockout, but unless he produces something very magical here. Matt, oh, and he's trying. Oh, if he holds that, no. No, he doesn't. Oh, and that is not going to be a Castrol Honda lockout to the front row then.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah, fourth place. Fourth place. Well, that was a monster moment.
He held it well.
Pachito,
that could have gone very Pete.
Pachito did exactly that last year, didn't he? And shot up the escape road there. More. Oh, look, he gets a second handful of Oppo on.
I thought he was going for the escape road there.
So Thiago Monteiro comes up shy. He will start on row 2 of the grid, position in which he might still easily find his way onto the podium. But our DHL pole sitter is Norbert Michelisz. So Norby starting on pole position for the main race. Being unfastened by the team.
He does seem to be getting out of there very gingerly, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's feeling a little bit on the cream-crackered side. However, that'll put a smile on his face. Not that he is rarely without one, actually. Again, he may not be the joker in the pack that a Coronel or a Katzberg is, but he always seems to be very relaxed about his life. His universe is everything. Right now, that's what pays, isn't it, in qualifying? You can't be aggressive.
Every Sunday, pole position.
Yeah.
Norby, live TV, please.
Yeah, they might be poisoning him more often. He's producing laps like that. Davey does look a bit wiped out, though.
But that's what he needs to get his position back in the team, doesn't it?
Yes. Well, and championship points. He needs a big day on Sunday. Let's hear from our DHL pole sitter, Will Alex Le Gui.
Despite being very, very poorly, Norby Michelisz, you are pole from main race here in Villarreal. What a lap that was.
Yeah, I tried to collect all my energy. I wasn't feeling really good during qualifying. In free practice sessions it was okay, but I think now in qualifying, because of the excitement, my stomach wasn't really good. So anyway, really happy for the team, really happy for all the guys supporting me, supporting us. It was an important pole, but still I'm a little bit focused on tomorrow. I expected us to be strong. Of course, starting from pole, you have the best chances in the main race, but still, you don't know about the weather. I'm trying to do my best tomorrow as well.
Yeah, it certainly looked very tidy around there. Not only that, but you also have control of what happens with the Joker lap.
Yeah, I did some Joker lap practices. To be on front is always giving you possibilities. With the Joker lap, especially, I can see what people are doing behind me, and having the pace is always a bit easier to do the right strategy, so I'm really looking forward to that as well.
I imagine now you're going to have many strategy chats behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure we have to find the right strategy for this, because also you have the opening race. You start from the middle of the pack. If you have the right strategy, maybe you can finish 6th, 7th instead of 9th and 10th. And if you look at the tight championship standings, you need every point possible.
Well done.
Thanks.
I'm trying to do my adding up. That puts him on to 101 points, tied with Mehdi Benani. Rob Huff moves up to 106, tied with Tom Chilton. Katzberg, Montero and Björk all score a few more, but 5 points go to Norbert Michelisz with that main race DHL pole win.